and this is a big thing that I talk about a lot in my book, AI for Educators, is that we have to teach with our tomorrow glasses. When we look at education through our today glasses, we're looking at the way that things are today. And if we prepare students for today, by definition, we're preparing them for their past. We have to do our best to try to look into the future and figure out where all of this is headed and try to prepare them for that. That's teaching with your tomorrow glasses.
A million ways for our students to show their learning in the digital world. We can have them do all sorts of projects that weren't available to us just a few years ago. Things like podcasts or video production, creativity projects with art, any discipline. The problem is that in the 21st century, traditional exams and essays in any classroom, if they are the only assessment, then you're doing them a disservice. Our students live in a very creative world, and they can do a ton with the technology that are available to them just on a cell phone.
And my first thought when I discovered this tool wasn't to be scared, but rather it was how exciting it was. I thought this is a golden opportunity for educators. We were looking at a time period when teacher sustainability is actually still quite an issue. There's a great deal of teacher burnout. And the more I played with the tool, the more I realized how much potential it has to maybe make a difference for teachers. So what we're looking at here today is ChatGPT, and we're going to look at it through the lens of an educator and how it can support them doing their jobs.
Now we have a lot more of these things to deal with, right? Change is fast. That's why Swivl's focus on adaptability, and it's an appropriate emphasis. Because if we don't know what future work will be, then the best we can do is set people up to be able to learn quickly, right? And to adapt. But really the underlying reasons for why work has changed so much are complex.
This is really powerful data. The World Economic Forum Future Jobs 2023 report listed creative thinking as the very top skill on the rise. And when we think about that, wow, that's pretty incredible. If that is the number one skill that's on the rise, what are we doing in our classrooms to really foster that creativity and get our students to visually communicate and be creative in their learning?
As a director of technology, I don't love the idea of blocking these tools on school networks. I think it creates a massive divide. So think about the student who can go home, has resources, support, family members, whoever it might be, who can show them how to use these tools, or has a sibling or a friend who's going to show them how to use these tools. And now that student essentially has a personal tutor at home that can help them with any task they might have. Then you might have a student who's in an environment at school where the resource is blocked. They might not have the support, resources, capacity at home. And now we're just kind of creating a greater divide. And what I mean by that is a student who might go home with their assignment that they wrote and the rubric they've been given, and they can go to ChatGPT or whatever, a text generative tool, and go, hey, I have my writing, I have the rubric, I want you to give me feedback right now. My teacher hasn't done it yet.
We have things coming in where, you're wondering what is AI all about? How does it fit into our larger group? And I think that's, even though, I'm not leading right with AI, I wanted to set that framework for you that it's very important to think about how students learn and how we teach before we go into what kind of AI tools will best meet that.
So I started tinkering with it, and I was like, okay, this is so good, and there's so many things that teachers can get from this, and I might begin to start solving that intractable problem we've had in my career as an educator, and I think a centuries-long problem of just teacher burnout and really unsustainable roles that have been created for teachers. They have so many jobs and so many things to do. And I've seen some of the best educators I know leave the classroom because of things like, I want to have a family and have a kid. And I don't know that that's necessarily compatible with being a teacher. And these are the folks we really want in front of our students who've been leaving the classroom over the years. And, it's not hard to find a headline that says that we're undergoing a crisis of a teacher shortage. So that's kind of like where the mission was born, was from this idea that maybe we can start keeping some of those amazing educators in the classroom, make their lives more sustainable with this technology.